Why, good morning, everyone. Hopefully, you're watching this in the morning, early, bright and early. It's Monday, August 9th, 2021, and we're here to talk some stocks. We're here to talk some molecular biology. It's going to be a fun video today as we go over Google Sheets and Microsoft Excel and a little talk about what's happening. So, what you're looking at here is just a bunch of stocks. These are the top 10 stocks that I like right now based on what their current prices are. And you'll see why in this file right here, which is the top stocks file. So I have a link on kenbraverman.com where you can let me know if you're interested in learning about this file and getting access to it as I update it frequently and using it to purchase stock options. And that's kind of what I want to talk about, stocks or stock options. So I want to talk about stock options today and specifically what has happened and what I realized over the weekend, because I drove across the country over the last week, all the way from basically Los Angeles to Washington, D.C., and I went through Yellowstone and through San Francisco and through all types of the Northwest and the Sierras. It was really interesting. Beautiful, beautiful drive in a lot of places. Also pretty smoky from the fire. And in some areas, air quality was so bad it was actually affecting me. It was really rough in certain areas in the mountains. But anyway, point is of all that is as I was driving around, you get to listen to a lot of radio, and local radio is kind of interesting because it is kind of a vibe about where you are. And I was in places like Idaho, and I was in places like Colorado where in the Midwest also, where it was just a lot of religious radio. It was kind of the only stations you could get, and they were talking about a lot of the questions and a lot of the topics were about obviously the coronavirus and about immunizations and vaccines. And listening to the talk about vaccinations and what's coming out of a community that had been somewhat resistant to it or has been somewhat resistant to it, things are changing. You can feel the change. And the reason why you can feel the change and that becoming more open to taking the vaccine as almost an imperative now is because people that are making the wrong decisions now that we've opened up and aren't wearing masks and aren't taking control or taking care of proper precautions and might be at risk and having long conversations with people and getting the virus in a bad way, along with the Delta variant concerns, are getting sick, and some of them are dying, and people are seeing the repercussions of careless behavior given what we know about the virus. And here's the other big thing, because I mixed a lot of the radio on my drive with religious radio on top of virology podcasts. I'd like to plug Vincent Racaniello, This Week in Virology. Absolutely, probably one of the best resources for talking about viruses and what's going on with the coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2. It's amazing. He does many episodes a week. And what you're seeing now that we're starting to get statistics about vaccinated people also contracting the virus, is that, first of all, it seems like this virus is so infectious that it doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not, whether or not you're going to get infected with it. Infection is just, you get sneezed on, you get infected, regardless of how you fight it off. Well, it turns out that how you fight the virus off is heavily statistically dependent on whether or not you've been vaccinated. You vaccinated, your heart, it's like 1 in 50 people die when you're not vaccinated, 1 in a million people die when you are vaccinated. That is the kind of numbers. It's reverse lottery numbers. It's great for people that are vaccinated, and people are realizing it because it's just flat out the truth. So that long-winded explanation of why vaccines are going to be in the news and blowing up is because, Moderna's been crazy the last couple weeks, the last month. Just look at their chart. How can you continue to invest in this? And the answer is, here's why. I can give it to you. I can tell you exactly why. So the way that they do their vaccine, the mRNA way, it's great. Their call letters are the way they conduct the vaccine. It's hilarious. That is what they do. They're at $166 billion market cap right now. Well, if all of a sudden a portion of the world that was a bit resistant to the vaccine at the beginning is now starting to get more accurate information as as everyone who used to say that coronavirus is a hoax is all of a sudden saying, yeah, you need to go get vaccinated. The shift is palpable. On top of the fact that you have to get boosters for this virus because the virus is a cold virus and we keep getting reinfected with it all the time, and it slightly changes, like the Delta variant, which seems to be more infectious, not necessarily more deadly yet, but more infectious. And that's the next part of this video I'm going to get to in a minute, is kind of breaking down maybe why that is and how to figure that out. But the point is that what has happened here and what is happening here with Moderna makes this chart and the number here, I say right now, they're going to get to 750. That's what I'm saying in the next quarter. This is over the next 3 months. Where's this stock? If you buy the stock below this number, I think you're going to make money over the next quarter. So you can see, I think Tesla's going to jump 100 a share from where they are right now. I think Amazon's going to get back over 3,500. I think Microsoft's going to cross 300. I think Sherwin-Williams is going to cross 300. I think Google's going to go up a little bit from where they are, probably more, actually. I want to actually raise this. I actually want to raise this now. I just did. And the reason, I'll talk about Google in another video, but they need to go up too for a bunch of different reasons. I was out in San Francisco, Palo Alto, Redwood City area. They're prominent out there. That's where they were founded, up in Berkeley, I think. So, right? I think it was at Berkeley. I think so. Anyway, they're not stopping. Microsoft, they're not stopping now. But I want to focus more on Moderna because of the timing of this video today. So you can see that this is 55% of ceiling price. This is a really green number. This is saying I really think they're going to jump almost double or more than double, really, over the next year. If this is a year price, they get to 1,000. All right, and even they are. But right now we'll go 750 over the next quarter because at some point people will take profits and this will slow down. But it's not going to slow down yet. And it's going to be nothing but news that we have to vaccinate the entire world. We solve this problem by vaccinating the world, and also giving people boosters as the virus adjusts. So this is news that it hasn't fully got there yet. They've been crushing it, and why are just more and more people are going to find out. And the reason why they have more to grow up here right now is because there's still a part of the world that isn't accepting of it and doesn't realize how important this is. And that will change because it's just the truth that when you're wrong about this, you die or you get really sick. And so people are actually learning the lesson firsthand, unfortunately. So this is just, so you buy long call options on Moderna, even short ones, even for a week or 2 weeks. What you're going to see happen to them is they're going to hit 750 within the next 3 months, and they'll probably blow by it. Because here's why. One more time. At 166 billion, think about 7 billion, 8 billion people on the planet. What if you only get to vaccinate half of them? Right? Just half. That's 4 billion doses you need to come up with. Plus, you got to get boosters. 2, 3, indefinite shots as this keeps rolling. Plus, they're going to be vaccinating for other viruses and other types of cancers, all kinds of things you can vaccinate for with this technology. Out of control. You got $1 trillion company right here. The world's realizing it. You buy long call options and then you make hand over fist fortune. That's what I think is going to happen. It's my personal opinion. That's what I'm doing in the morning is I'm shifting money to buy nothing but Moderna long call options because there's nothing else in the market that's that good right now. That's where the world is. We decided last year we were going to change the way the economy and the world work when it comes to viruses that can kill people. So we have to do something about the viruses. This is the answer. Pfizer is another one. Pfizer's doing a similar type of vaccine, similar way. So they're another stock that will go up. But Moderna is the one that pioneered it. Moderna is the one that's going to explode. So I have to say long call options. Now, that's the financial aspect of it, the stock part of the video. Here's the more interesting part of the video, in my opinion. And what I'm going to work on when I'm not trading stocks tomorrow is I'm going to work on this. This thing's called, I call it the Viral Defense Database. What it really is it is a genome sequence analyzer, essentially. Meaning I've got the genome of the SARS-CoV-2 it's on the National Institutes of Health website. You can actually just get it and download it essentially. And I put it into this thing, which does a lot of complex things. And I wouldn't expect most of the people watching this video to have a background in molecular biology. I don't either, but I've been learning. And what I've been able to do is you order this genome of bases of RNA. It is adenine, cytosine. I mean, they're hanging out over here. These are the different bases of nucleotide or whatever. So adenine, cytosine, guanine, thymine, uracil, inosine in certain RNAs are these two, I think. But usually you're hearing A bonds to T and C bonds to G. There's shapes of these things. They've got masses and densities. And then there's amino acids. And amino acids are combinations of 3 of those bases in a row. And that's kind of... They form these amino acids that have certain qualities, and they look like this. They're representations of these amino acids. They have different shapes, and they form different scaffolding and proteins and all kinds of different things that form your cells. Now, taking all of that together, I know that's a lot of information that you really can't understand that fast, but that's okay. So you've got these amino acids. Well, here's the cool thing about this file and what I'm going to talk about and then leave you with and then work on later, which is you can take the different genomes. These are different genomes of different viral strains of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. The Wuhan one or the Italy one are the ones that we think of as kind of the first ones that really got sequenced that we kind of look at as the main ones. But there are variants, and I don't have the delta in here yet. I'm going to grab the delta. That's what I'm going to do when I stop doing this video. Grab the delta, and I'm going to compare the two and talk about where the amino acid strings differ. Because the cool thing about this file is it allows you to toggle around and look at different things and say like, all right, it's a table that has all the different areas of the genome in order here. So like, for example, this is the first part of the Italy version of the virus. The first area is called the 5' end. That's a certain end of the string of the RNA. It's just a string, right? Then there's ORF1AB, which is open reading frame 1AB. These are areas that people that have annotated the genome have named them. When you go into them, you can open them up, and I have the different orders of the bases, and you can look at the actual amino acid. Like this, like this thing starts off with lysine, then valine, then tyrosine, then serine, then isonuclein, and it shows you, or sorry, that doesn't start off with, it shows you how much of these amino acids you have in the open reading frame, and it also can show you just flat out the order. We can do everything simply by the order, by moving the order up or the order number, and show you the exact order and everything. There's a million things you can do with this. The point is that you can start to make some, draw some conclusions about different parts of the virus and where the sequences differ in order, because you can actually just line them up. And when you do that, you can start to draw conclusions about what's happening. I know that's really, really complicated, and what the hell is he talking about? And the answer is, I always do that. I'm a little nuts, I know, but I also can really help in this situation in terms of mathematically modeling the virus, because we need to be processing data in this kind of way and understanding what the orders of these bases mean and what kind of shapes they're creating and how to combat them and how to build antigens to them and all kinds of different things. And so it's pretty cool. Let's see here, the gene, amino acid. Like you can just look at like polarities of things, and it's amazing. So like on certain, like the spike protein. Okay, the spike protein is this S one over here. If you click on spike protein, apparently that's the thing it's the third chunk of the virus, the third chunk of it. It's called the S, and it's got a lot of lysine, serine, valine. You can actually make like a chart out of this to show what it's doing. It's amazing what you can do. Like if we create a pivot chart out of this, do just like a pie chart, you start to see things like, all right, well, you go in here and you format out and you design this thing and you make it look a little cooler. with a layout that's like this, maybe, that has lines and yeah, here we go. Right, so it'll start to show you, where the biggest chunk of it, lysine, serine, valine right here, right? And it'll also then take the order of things. So the actual order is this thing called order right here. So you can grab order and put it like right under gene, and you can then sort this by order, which I think it is automatically sorted. Order, sort A to Z. And you start, yeah, the chart looks crazy. I actually got to get rid of the chart because it's going to blow up. There's a lot of data in here, but it's actually pretty darn easy to manipulate, actually. Yeah, so here you go. So we just ordered, and you can see that what you have here, if you change this this chart layout to, let's see here, we want to change this design layout to tabular. And it's going to be a little easier to read for our purposes. Why am I just looking at E? Let's open up everything. So what you have here is on this third chunk of the Italy version of the coronavirus, in the spike protein, it starts to look like this, with a methionine, then a phenylalanine. These are the amino acid names. And then here's what's the cool thing is you can also look at the state of the amino acid, meaning you get to see what kind of amino acid it is and how we've classified it. Like this is an initiator hydrophobic, which means it doesn't it moves away from water. These are things that move away from water or repel water, which affects how they're going to move around the cell and move around the environment in your body. Then there's things that are polar. It's just amazing that you can kind of look at everything in this order and just get an idea of what's going on, and then compare the two together and find out where they're different and find out why one variant is more transmissible than the other by looking at the comparisons between the two and finding where they're different and analyzing them. So there's a million fun things to do. I call it fun because it is fun to figure out how things work on the molecular level. So that's what I'm going to work on. But for those of you that care about stocks and care about making money, rarely do I say the word sure thing. But this is a sure thing. And the reason why it's a sure thing is if this doesn't work out and people don't realize that we need to expand the vaccine, get it to more people, and vaccinate for other viruses, then that means humans decided we didn't want to live. We would rather die and be dumb than invest in this company. And I think that too many humans are smart, and there's smart money out there. And this is a sure thing, because even when people are going to take profits, which there are profits to be made, there's also going to be just repetitive, pounding news about how the vaccine works, how we need to vaccinate the whole world because of the way the virus spreads. And you're going to look to the people that are doing it, and that is Moderna. So you buy long call options Monday morning, the chance of you losing money is approaching zero. Okay? It's not zero. You might lose. There's some chance that you might lose, but it's approaching zero because of what's coming. So that's my opinion on today. I will get on my molecular engineering bandwagon here, or I will be giddy up to trying to figure out how to get the Delta variant in here and start doing some comparisons, and hopefully come up with a video that explains to you which part of the virus is different from the older versions from 2019 and 2020, and how that's different now. And we'll then do another video on that because it's probably going to be helpful. All right. Good luck, everyone. May all your trades be winning. If you trade on Moderna and you're buying call options, you're probably going to be winning. All right. Good luck.